Hello everyone, welcome to Creating Grin, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons real play podcast set in the homebrew fantasy world of Solaris on the continent of Wizardtorium. At the table, we have the 3 players that will bring to life our adventures. To my right, we have...
I'm Katie. I play Arya Collis, a tiefling rogue who is still dead.
Yes.
Sendra.
And I am Brian. I play Kelbrix Goldfound, a human grave cleric, and he is still kind of confused about this on-cake attack that he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm Jason. I'm playing Gorath Thunderfist, a Goliath fighter, and an insect exterminator extraordinaire to add to my list of professional occupations.
And my name is Eric, and I will be your dungeon master for this chapter of our tale. So, outside the massive gates of Landgate, you find yourselves late at night. There are guards outside. The gates are lit by torchlight and other magical means to kind of help illuminate the area. As you get within, I don't know, a couple hundred feet, Sendra kind of urges the two of you to stop as she kind of picks your brain and says, how should we go about this?
It's a good question. Well, I would say that you being an arcanist, we are assisting you in transporting a dangerous individual that we have kept unconscious and need to make our way into the city to a cleric or something along those lines.
Okay.
How hidden is Ari currently? Because you had like a bedroll on top of her.
That was about... I mean, that's kind of what I had envisioned. She would just kind of loosely toss the bedroll, not like packed up or rolled up, but like long, maybe even tied it around the body a little bit to protect it from weather elements and such like that, and obscurity. Maybe even tucked her into the bedroll or something like that. But that was like her conscious kind of decision. We need to make sure that we kind of obscure her from any traveling folk or wandering eyes till you got there, especially once you get through the gates. Okay, so it sounds to me that you're going to use deceptive ways as well as stealthing tactics to obscurely make your way in.
I mean,
And not like outright lies. Let's,
I mean,
but
we're not being disingenuous.
okay.
True.
So
They are telling the
okay.
truth.
So it's more of a persuasion over deception.
I'd say a little bit more of a persuasion over
So
deception.
here's how this is going to roll. Literally, it's going to come down to persuasion versus the guards or the guardians of the gate who are standing outside waiting, and you'll see that they're doing checks essentially, talking to people that are coming into the city. The gates are currently closed. They will kind of open and close them to try to keep riffraff and other shenanigans from happening at late night. So it'll come down to a persuasion versus the guardians of the gates insight, as stated before. And I do wish to have a stealth versus perception. If those two things can successfully go down without a hitch, you should find yourselves within the city of Landgate late at night. So take a look at the numbers and see how you guys want to go about doing this, as Katie/Ari will be continuing her role as Sendra currently.
Well, she has nothing for stealth.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, neither. I have a -2 for stealth with disadvantage.
God.
I have a +2,
Oh!
We got someone.
and I have a perception of +1. So,
Okay,
Or
so-
no, persuasion.
persuasion. Oh, my persuasion is +1.
Mine's 0.
Persuasion is +1.
Okay, so somebody is going to have to do persuasion and somebody's going to have to do stealth. You guys will have to fight out who that's going to be.
You do persuasion because it's Sendra's city. She
Okay.
knows more
Okay.
about it.
Mhm.
If I gotta do the stealth, then I can do the stealth.
Now, you can help with one of those. You choose giving aid to either Sendra or Gorath on hiding the body. Or making it, not necessarily hiding it, but keeping it low-key, nondescript?
I will give advantage to the persuasion.
Okay.
It's... So the thing is, what my thoughts are.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
All right. With what I had kind of said or thought of is, we persuade the guards that, hey, we have this prisoner. They're extremely dangerous. We've kept them unconscious.
Correct.
Sendra being a member of the Arcanist, a threader. That helps.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope. So they see the body. I mean, it's not like Ari's actively bleeding or anything.
Right. Right.
Could be unconscious.
Her face just caved in.
Well.
That'll work to your advantage.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Are you fishing for an advantage on it, or?
I mean, I was just
where are we going with
thinking
this?
that, like, I didn't think we would need an extremely high stealth roll.
Yeah, you may not be wrong.
Okay.
But I do think that these are trained guards, and they
Mhm.
do have a chance to, pick up on something or create trouble.
I'm trying.
I understand. I got
I mean,
it rolled and set.
we're as far as we know, we're not wanted for anything.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Covered by me, but
and Sendra, unless she's wanted for something, but there shouldn't be anything that should draw suspicion on us
Hopefully.
trying to enter the city.
Hopefully.
Correct. So, are you guys ready to make those checks? Okay. Persuasion first.
do I get an advantage
You-
since he's helping?
You will, because
Okay.
Kelbrix is going to help.
16. So 18 and 1 for 19.
Okay. So I rolled their insight. I gave them advantage because there's multiples. There's at least 6 of them that you can see. And you had a total of?
19.
Okay. That is more than enough, as they, with advantage, only created an 11 with their modifiers. So your story will successfully be persuasive enough to convince them of your journey's end. Now, again, there's going to be one guard that's like kind of roving around the horses. So it comes down to just a stealth versus a one person's insight. So go ahead and make that stealth check. Remember, before you announce numbers, double check and make sure you don't have inspiration points if needed or any of that. Just reminding everybody.
I do not.
Okay.
I do, if needed. Or
Yes, you still have those.
I am going
But remember, you cash it in, you don't get it back, I think, until like,
next session.
yeah. So make sure it's... Because you're about to go into Landgate. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I know.
Okay. And there's usually
Never good
I think how the
enough.
plot point works is usually you'll have one thing to change the narrative, and then I think the player off to your right, I have to look this up, maybe, gets to throw kind of a recourse.
Mhm.
Yes.
So choose wisely.
I trust in you, Jason.
Oh, look at the cameras, look at the faces, the intensity.
But
Okay.
not severely. I'm gonna pass my insight to you.
Your inspiration?
My inspiration.
Okay, so he's going
Not
to use
insight.
inspiration.
Using
passing
my
off.
inspiration.
So needed.
That means you
in
get
case-
to do advantage.
Okay. I didn't need it.
Oh,
But I would say I didn't need it, but I got a 16.
On your previous
Stealth.
roll?
Yes. Then I rolled the second die for advantage. So,
And 16 is your highest total?
yes.
okay.
So the number they had was a 16.
Ooh.
It's a beats it.
So the way this will play out, because he did give you advantage, I'm going to say the guard looking begins to get suspicious enough. The two of you guys are going to be able to avert the gaze to where he's suspicious, but he sees nothing. But he keeps his eyes on you as you guys are going in. He gets a good hard look at you guys.
Oh boy.
So we'll play it as that. That's very interesting that it turned out that way. Once you guys have cleared the checkpoint, it takes a moment or two for the doors, these massive iron gates, to open up. You will enter into the city. And let me go ahead and change over to the city of Landgate map for our viewers, which I would totally love for each and every one of you to check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. We got to get those subscriptions up, those views, all that good stuff. Those thumbs up, those questions, those comments, good or bad. We take constructive criticism. We love it. You go through the first set of iron doors. You will cross a large cobblestone bridge that goes over top of the moat. As described in earlier episodes, it's a large moat filled with all kinds of aquatic animals and creatures of nature that are just looking to be fed or for something to be tossed into. And you will come to a second set of iron doors that has two massive towers labeled Northern Tower 1 and Northern Tower 2. And these are huge towers that have guards walking like a perimeter on side of like a surrounding balcony on these towers. And we're talking like these things are 30, 40 feet by 30, 40 feet all together. And they're supported by stone and, all kinds of capable structure. There's a set of guards down below that will pull, another lever to allow you into the second gate into Landgate. And even the dead Ari is a little nervous right now.
A little bit.
Okay. So, Sendra will kind of move into position as she tells the both of you. She rides between the two of you into a more of a gallop. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Follow me. I will lead you to the temple."
Lead the way.
And you will be led down the North Gate Road. And you will come around to a side road. And you will take another side path to the Temple of the Mistress. Or, as a lot of the Soul Shepherds will refer to it as, the Soul Temple.
Gotcha.
You enter into this temple, or you tie your horses off. We'll keep it kind of the formalities. There are hitching posts all along the temple. The doors are closed to the temple. You will tie off and hitch your horses, and Sendra will get off her horse or dismount the horse and begin to make her way up. What do the two of you wish to do?
I will hitch my horse, dismount as well.
Okay.
I'll do the same, and then I will grab Ari's body, fling it over my shoulder.
Okay.
Sack of potatoes.
Yeah. The arm kind of flops out. Weekend at Bernie style there. Anyway. So you will both approach, following behind Sendra. You make your way up. There is a large chain with kind of a rope, fancy like bellow, or I guess that's the proper term. But there's like something like an embroidered, fancy looking
tassel.
Thank you. On the end of the chain, she will pull it. There is kind of a gong or a bell. It takes a few moments. The temple's doors will open, and you will see before you a slightly not quite awake yet, still kind of in a slumber, if you will, female. And she kind of clears her eyes a little bit, and she says, "It's extremely late at night. Is there something I can do for you? The temple is currently closed."
Yes, I apologize for the late intrusion. We are in grave need of your assistance.
Oh, I'm just one of the curator caretakers, if you will. Let me go get the head priestess.
Thank you.
The door will close back gently. Anything you guys wish to say, do? No. So you patiently wait.
Just patiently wait.
It takes around 10 minutes, which is kind of an awkward silence and a little bit of patient game. as you're standing outside of a building with a corpse that is wanted for 1,200 gold pieces. Passive perceptions, what are yours, both Kelbrix and Gorath?
16.
11.
That's great, Gorath. Kelbrix, sorry. You're getting a little antsy because you're noticing there's a few patrols of guards that walk by and look and stare maybe a little bit longer than you would like. But they move along.
You could set Ari down so it doesn't look like a dead body.
We are bringing our fallen ally to the Temple of Morgana to have the last rites read and performed.
All right.
Okay.
As you finish reading, you will hear the door open, as you will see, dressed in fine raiments and clothing, a beautiful female who stands there and she says, "I'm Headmistress Isabel. Is there something I can do for you? My assistant said you come in a great time of need."
Yes, we require your assistance in performing a ritual.
She will look past and she will see the sack of potatoes on the shoulder of Gorath, and she will say, "Do come in," and she will swing the door wider open for you to enter. Entering into this temple, you can see that it is lavishly designed with religious decor, symbols of the Mistress of Death, Morgana. And you will see that there are several side chambers that are essentially like prayer booths or things where you can go say your prayers in private. You can pay alms. You can do the various different religious activities needed. There is a beautiful statue directly in front of everyone, like towards the north of this area, that is like a marble statue of Morgana. Go ahead and give me a perception check, Brian.
Alright, 18 plus 6 for 24.
This image of this particular statue looks extremely familiar to you. There's a lot of similarities and things, if I remember correctly, that you experienced with this when you were kind of on death's door at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, this looks very familiar to you. It's very much like what you experienced in some of your visions or dealings that you had when you were kind of fighting off death. As stated before, I'm Soul Priestess Isabel Greyroar, is what you'll say. I am the one who is in charge of this chapter, and it seems that you definitely require some sort of assistance. What can I do for you this late in the evening?
Well, High Priestess, we have come seeking your assistance in a ritual to resurrect and bring back one of our allies.
I assume the ally, as she looks towards Gorath's shoulder.
Yes.
The little one here.
Bring them with you and follow me.
Okay.
She will lead you towards the statue, and the positioning of the statue is one in which you see the hand of Morgana kind of down around your level, like a medium-sized level, and on there is this kind of altar that she seems to be holding up. So she will look to you, Gorath, Isabel will, and say, "Place your ally on the altar here."
All right, I'll gently put her down.
As you do, the sound of water begins to trickle as this fountain kind of like almost ignites or turns on and begins to kind of gently kind of make its way down the statue, creating this ambience and kind of cool effect, if you will. There is a little bit of, once the water kind of gets into the basin that's underneath this altar being suspended by the hand of Morgana, essentially. There's a bit of a cool dry ice effect, if you will, or this kind of fog or smoke that begins to kind of emanate from the, I guess you would call it the moat or the basin where the water collects.
Okay.
She will slowly look, being Isabel, the Soul Priestess, will look and say, would you like me to reveal this person? Do you wish to remove the bedroll that she is stuffed in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we will go ahead and do so.
Okay.
You just told me to put her down. I just put her down.
Okay. So, I guess Sendra and Kelbrix will both kind of loosely untie any loose bondings to kind of keep the bedroll and kind of remove the bedroll.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend looks to be in fair condition thanks to the
Gentle repose.
very good, and you will notice as Isabel begins to kind of walk and pace, like looking and examining, as if she's sizing up or studying on what it is she's going to do. And then she will turn and she will look to you and say, "And what shall I do for the three of you? Anything in particular? Do you have something in mind you wish? Do you wish us to be raised from the dead, resurrection, true resurrection?"
Based on the timeline and everything, a simple, well, not so simple, but a raised dead will be adequate. I have ensured with what I am able to do that the body would be preserved enough for such a spell and ritual to be cast.
She looks at you inquisitively, and she says, "Very well then. The price is 2,000 gold pieces. How shall you pay it?" is what she will say. She's going to start moving, kind of letting you guys have a sidebar, and she's going to begin gathering up her tools and supplies needed to perform the ritual.
So Sendra.
Nonsense. We don't have 2,000.
Check her pouch. She might have some. She's a little thief. She's good for it.
You will quickly kind of move to the side. Oh, her pouch is gone, by the way. Was your money in your pouch? In Ari's pouch?
It wouldn't have been in her backpack, probably.
Okay.
It would have been
That's
like
fair.
on her belt.
Okay,
separately.
that's fair.
So no,
So the money pouch is still there.
money pouch is there.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, we'll grab Ari's money pouch. And,
Katie/Ari.
Yeah.
What's in that pouch?
There are approximately an amount. 14 platinum, 61 gold, 12 electrum.
Okay, so here's how the electrum is going to work. The electrum, instead of being in between, like it's like 5
silver.
Yeah, it's going to be flip. It's going to be more like 5 gold. It's going to be halfway between platinum and gold.
Okay.
It's more valuable. I just kind of upgraded it in between the other two. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of those are worth 5 gold. May help a little bit. I don't know.
I mean,
not 2,000 gold pieces worth.
God no.
Okay.
Can't math. It's 12 times 5.
12
I have a
times 5 is
calculator, but
660.
my phone's being
Thanks.
used as a camera. So,
So that's 120 gold.
Yeah.
21 gold then. Plus the 14 platinum.
That's
Which is
140.
140.
What's our
Some on-
final numbers?
Final numbers. So you have 361 gold pieces equivalent. I have the equivalent of 147.
On this episode,
And
math.
I think Gorath is right around what I'm at.
Yeah, I have 127. Plus, what's the electrum again? Half
They're
5
worth
gold.
5 gold, essentially.
5 gold, so
How many electrum do you have?
9. So 127 between. I have 10 platinum, 27
100.
gold, 9 electrum.
Okay, so same as me.
Yeah.
And actually, well, wait.
I'm sitting here seeing all the coin that Ari has. Like,
What? There's not more? Or are you shaking your head like, damn, she's got a lot more than the rest of
I'm
us?
just shaking my head because I know what was going on, but I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Look, I was just looting dead bodies.
So the total of what we have comes to roughly.
Less than 1,000.
Oh yes, less than 1,000.
Right, less than 500.
No, actually,
No, I already had
it's
300 something,
671 gold
Okay.
equivalents.
Being a cleric and being in these temples before, you quickly look to find there's a price list nearby.
Mm-hmm.
You will gain, or can potentially gain, 10% off for being a cleric of any faith. If you are a soul shepherd, it's 20% off. If you're a paladin, it's 5%.
Okay.
If you're an arcanist, more like a threader, it's 50% discount.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we still need 329 gold with the threader with us.
What kind of coin does Sendra have?
None,
you
because
s-
her stuff was
Oh,
torched.
yeah. Can you stack
Well-
discounts?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
It's like 50% off and then
So-
20% off.
Yeah, we'll, ooh, boy, math.
Math is
I will-
fun.
That's 70% off. If you add the 2% together, 50
Well,
and 20.
Depends on how they're doing it.
Oh, it's
but-
true.
Let's see if I can pull
Well,
the calendar.
Yeah,
calculator
I mean,
here for you.
depending on the way
don't know
that
if I have
that
one.
occurs. So if we're actually getting 70% off, the total is 600 gold. It would be the final cost.
7
Okay.
is
Well,
9. Wait,
No.
nope, I can math. I'm smart. Don't
Technically,
worry.
you need to times it by 0.3 because that's our cost.
600.
good math. Good things. All right.
So I was a math major for a little bit.
There you go. So Soul
science.
Priestess Greyroar, Soul Priestess Greyroar will
Yep.
come back over. She will begin to lay down her utensils and things needed. You will see the gem, the size of the gem, the value of it is going to make
Mm-hmm.
that. She turns to each of you as she has like these oversized kind of like almost like Jedi style sleeves, these big bellowing sleeves, and just kind of slides her hands very much like a priest or something and approaches.
I will hand over 650 gold.
This seems to be a little shy as
My-
Sendra will step up and say, I am a threader amongst the Arcanists, and she will pull forth the kind of the
ID
the
card?
information or whatever it is needed, like a number or a confirmation. As she says, well, that will grant you half price, for sure. And she kind of nods to Sendra.
I am a soul shepherd chosen by Morgana, and I will pull out my holy symbol.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a persuasion.
Oh, that is a 19 plus 0 for a total of 19.
There is hesitation at first. She sees the symbol. She
It is-
acknowledges what your words are. She kind of raises an eyebrow and says, very well. She will turn and she will say, I will keep the 50 gold as extra penance to donate towards the mistress, is what she will say.
That is what it was for.
Sendra will slowly move to you, Kelbrix, as Soul Priestess Greyroar begins to perform her duties. I feel extremely uncomfortable with her presence, is what she says. Something doesn't feel right here. Maybe it's just me, because we are in a city where she's wanted. Looking towards Ari. I didn't quite like the look she gave you either.
Well, as I told you, I'm not an official soul shepherd.
Which surprises me, you didn't just say you were a cleric.
We needed the extra off.
Very well, that's what she'll say. She'll kind of step back.
an insight on Isabel.
Hmm?
You could do an insight on Isabel.
Could.
Okay, so with that being said, Isabel will continue to pull the different incenses, oils, and materials that are not necessarily listed on the spell but are needed to kind of put the ritual into place. She'll place the diamond valued at, I think it's 500 gold pieces, on the chest right around the heart area where Ari is. And once you'll see all these incenses kind of like accumulate around the body and kind of begin to swirl and convolute near the center. So, that all being said, you will notice that she presses the diamond into the chest, right where the heart is. There is like this bright light that begins to kind of like expound from the diamond almost to the point of blinding, where you have to kind of cover your eyes. And within a moment, there's a flash, and she will step away. As you will begin to see the chest of your friend slowly beginning to rise and fall.
We can't.
As you are now rejoined with your Bonnie.
Do I get 4 or 1? HP.
I'm pretty sure with the raised dead, which was the cheapest, I think you get 1 HP.
1 HP.
And
have
you
a
are like
4 to everything.
Until you take a long rest. A long rest takes away a
1.
negative number. So you have 4 long rests before you're like completely not affected by the negative numbers.
She's not dead.
No. But, side note, while you were not with your compatriots and friends, you found yourself in this kind of smoky gray area, not where you thought you would be, surprisingly enough. You were walking and talking with a strange, shrouded, cloaked, you presume to be woman based off the voice. And you kept coming to this conversation about a traitor amongst the group, amongst the followers, is what she says. Make sure that my champion gets this message. So that'll have all been taking place the entire time. And now you have returned to your body. Your eyes will flutter awake. You see familiar kind of silhouette or vestige of who you may have been dreaming about. Like you're literally looking up at this statue that's very similar, being the mistress of Death Morgana. I ask the rest of you, what would you like to do?
Kelbrix is actually going to move and give Ari a hug. Say,
okay.
Welcome back.
Just gonna like awkwardly pat him and be like, where the fuck are we? What happened?
Calm down. Don't freak out.
You will hear the voice, the calming, kind of soothing voice of Soul Priestess Grey Roar. She says, your friend will need much rest. There is lodging here for her to rest till she is fully recuperated.
That is greatly appreciated.
As well as you, Soul Shepherd, is what she'll say.
We do have lodging nearby. So, while it is appreciated, we will be taking our leave here momentarily. And I'm gonna look at Ari and say, we're in Landgate.
What the fuck?
currently.
No.
Take it easy. It's all gonna be okay.
More now.
As this conversation is taking place, there's another ring at the door.
Of course.
You will see as Soul Priestess Grey Roar moves towards the door to answer it, as she kind of calls off the first person that answered the door when you guys arrived. And they will kind of turn and go back into their sleeping chambers or resting chambers. It's good to see you, Ari. That's what you'll hear Sendra say.
To see you also not dead.
It was a challenge, is what she says, kind of trying to be lighthearted and joking.
Yeah. I hear that.
We have much to discuss about our experiences, I'm sure.
Apparently.
We are in Landgate. You are wanted for a lot, is what she says.
Yep.
We should probably
We
see...
should leave.
I would agree with that. So Sendra will stay there and kind of help you, Ari, kind of help sit you up and kind of, be your, I guess, crutch or cane or whatever. Because you're, it's essentially you're like exhausted. You're weak from the experience. Gorath and Kelbrix, anything you guys wish to do?
I don't understand any of this. I'm just happy people are back.
Okay.
I'm gonna look over at the door.
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
That is 14 plus 6 for a total of 20.
A dirty 20. You will see a cloaked figure, roughly about the same height and build as Soul Priestess Greyroar. There seems to be a little bit of an intense conversation between the two, as Isabel kind of, her body language and stuff kind of hurries or quickens the figure and kind of like shoos them back out of the temple. And then the door will close, and she will slowly turn and make her way back towards the party. It's going to take her a little bit as she's walking slow.
Okay.
The 20 will allow you to catch as this cloaked figure turned to leave. A bit of the moonlight peek through the doorway to reveal kind of a very pale gray skin, like cheek or jawline, with some very soft features. A tiny tuffet of white, almost like platinum blonde hair kind of falling out from the hood that is quickly, with the left hand kind of tucked back into the hood, and the hood is quickly drawn tighter, with like she grabs both of her hands and kind of pulls the cloak a little longer and tighter and kind of hides what you presume to be herself or a female as they take their leave.
Interesting. High Priestess, is everything all right?
Everything is fine. Have you made your decision about your friend? You said you were taking your leave. Are you sure that is adequate and what you wish to do at this point?
Yes. We do have lodging nearby that we will be returning to.
Excellent. May I have a word with you specifically? And she kind of pulls you off on the side.
Of course.
You move over 20 feet from where your party is, kind of in a little alcove or something, like near a prayer room maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks to you and she says, your friends are free to leave. I will have to ask you to turn over your vestiges and false symbols. I know you are not one of us. Is what she says, very sternly. We can do this very quietly, without remorse. You will be taken and questioned for sure, for imposter, or impersonating, is what she'll say.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
It does not have to be. I do not wish for it to be one, is what she says.
Well, I believe that you should pray and try and commune with the goddess. I will stay here until that is done.
All right. And she will take you into a prayer room and kind of point for you to have a seat in a nearby chair. She's going to pray with you in the room, so you cannot try to deceive her or make a attempt to flee.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do, it's challenging. One of the two. She will draw the kind of thick curtain that kind of separates sound, sight. Gorath, you watch this happen. Like you're looking around. Like
I'm
you're
just
seeing
assuming they're doing magic stuff, magic finger stuff.
Yep.
Just checking. I'll tell you what, Ari, go ahead. You're like really like just come back from life here, but go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage, or is it -4? Take it -4. That's correct. Perception -4.
she's still really out of it.
Yeah.
5, and then plus 5 would be 10, but minus 4 is 6.
Well, you noticed that. You noticed that the Soul Priestess, or this person who looks very religious in your mind, is escorting your friend Kelbrix into a prayer booth, essentially. But that's up to you whether you decide to do anything or say anything.
I guess
As for Sendra, she has a really naturally high roll on her perceptiveness, and she's going to whisper to you and say, "There's something not right with her, and I do not feel comfortable with her taking him back in there alone."
Do you want to follow them?
I'm not quite stealthy, as you might know, since you've seen my statistics.
I mean, you could also just go in and be like, "Hey, Kelbrix, Arya's going to fall over."
That's a pretty good point. That's what she says.
And then I will fall over.
I don't want to interrupt them if there is something.
How about we give it a few minutes and then we break in?
That is fair and adequate. That's what she was saying.
Just a curtain.
It's just a curtain.
It's just a curtain.
We can
and
get
then we will
curtain.
barge in.
I just figured I just do some like magic priesty things. I don't know.
Mhm.
Where's my bag?
You Oh yes, here. She hands you your empty backpack. Yes.
Didn't he take the whole bag?
Yeah, like the contents, right? Oh, your
No,
bag,
he
your
took
bag,
the
not your coin.
whole bag.
Yeah, no. She doesn't know. I don't
doesn't
know.
know.
I assumed it burned in the fire, and she'll
Was
begin
a
to
fire?
she'll begin to fill you in as you wait, and we'll flip back to Kelbrix here as she begins to kneel down on a pillow, being Soul Priestess Greyroar, and she begins to go through the motions and things and begins to pray. Takes her a few moments. Probably about the time that Sendra's like, "Okay, I'm feeling really uncomfortable now." But then she will stand confirming what her prayer brought to her, and then she will open the curtain and she will say, "Your religious garb, please."
Can I do an insight?
Yeah, by all means. You all be able to see this because the curtain's now open. She seems to be confronting your friend on something, extending her hand.
Well, that insight is a natural 1 for a total of 6.
Bro, you are 100% convinced with this glaring motherly look that she's dead set on what she has prayed for, and you believe her. I mean, you still get 1 plus whatever. It's not like you automatically fail because it's a skill check.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because my insight's plus 6, so 7.
What's going on?
You'll hear a very weakened Ari say, "What's going on in there?" Your friend is posing as something he is not. That's what you will hear her say.
A fighter?
Well, that's true. I am
A
willing.
bumbler?
I am willing to let things go as long as he turns over his religious false.
But he's
Things.
a cleric.
But he's not a soul shepherd, and he's posing as one, which is a crime.
But he's done the weird eye thing. Isn't that a soul shepherd thing? The like marquee of the whatever death.
I've been seeing him do some stuff.
Persuasion. Give him persuasion.
I still get -4, right?
You sure do, until you take them long rests and start willing that away.
Ooh. Okay, well, that's still a 16.
Okay.
Do I get the +1 and then -4, or is it just -4?
No.
Yeah, you
will
still get the plus 1.
Yeah, and then take
Okay.
away 4.
Then yes, 16.
She looks around at you a little bit more curious, as if the words have begun to take hold.
And you definitely healed people. Look, I saw his god, and I don't even believe in that stuff.
Okay. Anything to add, Gorath?
I just know that he said he looked at her and said that there wasn't her time yet and that we brought her here.
I'm going to look at her and say, you can test me however you wish. But I can turn this over. That will not matter. Morgana, she brought these to me. As it will, if I turn these over, she will bring more to me.
If that is so, she extends her hand like, turn it over. Prove your faith.
Alright, I will. As I am handing it over,
Yeah.
I'm going to use my Eyes of the Grave on her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To see if she has any markings stating that it is close to her time.
Okay, so when you go into your Eyes of the Grave, give me a second, I'm looking just to make sure that this all plays out. Hold on. Try to be fair to every party.
Of course.
You will see that she has a aura around her that is this fiery orangish red that you've never seen before. There is no marking or that her time is up, but this aura is like extremely like it's like fire encapsulating her. And it lasts for but a moment as she moves, and whatever movement or whatever does causes it to kind of like blink out, like your eyes kind of like come back too. She's still staring at you, but you know, with the intensity of give me your shit, essentially.
You have a very unique aura about you. It's something I've never seen before.
Okay. You will notice her mannerisms gets a little bit on edge. There's a little anxiousness as she says, turn your things over now and leave. Immediately. That's what she says.
She's a traitor.
Most likely, yes.
Do you hand
I
him over?
I will hand over my holy symbol.
Okay.
And I will...
Put your holy symbol in the coin box. This should be on the table somewhere. Just so we
I
know
will
it's
also
in the bank.
remove
Yeah.
the sensor that I have from my pocket and hand that over as well.
Have you ever used that?
I have not.
Oh,
It's because the requirements for it are high.
It's a cool little thing that hopefully you'll get to demonstrate or use. You listeners and viewers out there. Now, the party watches him hand over all of his religious...
Accoutrement?
Yes, correct. And you see him hand over that holy symbol, which he's used many times to help save you and get you out of the sticky wickets. And you rejoin your party, I'm assuming, Kelbrix?
Yes.
As he kind of walks like a little saddened. He feels a little, I guess you would say nude or undressed. It's kind of vulnerable. Vulnerable, probably a better word for it.
Mm-hmm.
As he kind of makes his way over to the rest of you.
But don't you need that to do the things?
I don't need it for all of them. But some, yes.
Sendra's going to kind of
Okay.
hand you being off to Kelbrix as he approaches, and she's going to make her way over, kind of pushing past a little bit fired up towards Isabel to try to figure out what the fuck is going on, essentially. What did the rest of you wish to do at this point?
I want to tell Kelbrix what I saw.
Okay,
Well,
you can
standing
pass
here.
along. You can pass along that.
I'm gonna go follow Sendra.
Okay, you watch Gorath as he goes with Sendra.
Says there's a traitor amongst their followers.
Well, that's interesting.
Also, you're her champion, apparently. Congrats.
Gorath, you start approaching as Sendra is well inside kind of the prayer chamber, and you notice that Soul Priestess Grey Roar is kind of folding up the different vestiges that was handed over. Simple, obviously, they're what Kelbrix wears, and places them inside of a small chest nearby and kind of locks them up. As Sendra is going to be, what is the meaning of this, priestess? And Soul Priestess Grey Roar will turn around and say, it's not your business, Arcanist. We abide by the code and the contracts set into place. But this is religious matters, beyond what you have any power or authority. I suggest you and your friends leave before I turn over your friend to the local law enforcement. Both of them. As she kind of looks towards Kelbrix as well as Ari. I will keep my words to myself and what I've seen and done here for you, but do not return back to my temple. Sendra will say, this is not the end of this. I will have words with the Council of Wands and some of my friends within the Arcanist. As Isabel says, you do that. You do that. And the claws are out. The claws retract. Sendra kind of turns around and moves past you, bumping you a little bit, Gorath, and she's like, come on! And she starts making her way in a storm, heading right back towards the rest of the party. She says, we must go. Perhaps we make our way to Key Village?
Yes, that's the plan.
We can always stay at the Lock and Key Inn.
Mm-hmm. We have a total of 21 gold between the four of us.
Nice.
That will suffice for...
I can always get us a favored room or two within the Lock and Key. Yanketh owes me some favors or two.
The gold will work. But before I leave, I have a question for you, Sendra, before we leave.
Yes, what is it?
When you woke up, you shouted that there is a traitor amongst us.
I did? That's what she says.
You did.
Hmm.
And Ari just now said that while she was dead, she had spoken with
Morgana.
Morgana.
I think it was a close shout or anything.
Or she
It
believes
looks like that lady, so.
that there is a traitor amongst the shepherds.
Well, if I said it, it must be true, is what she says. Your basic instinct is it's one of those things that in the moment, which it'll start to fade even for Ario.
Mm-hmm.
Start to fade. Like you'll remember it vaguely. So that's why she was like, I did. Just so everybody's on the same page and not confused. I don't want to lead anybody down a rabbit hole that's not worth chasing.
Yeah, no, you're good. Alright. Let's head to Key Village.
Okay, you take your leave.
And I'll just say to Isabella, because I'm still back there.
You sure are.
Just kind of look at her like, thank you.
You're
job,
welcome, kind Goliath.
Need
May-
anything, let me know. Thanks
I
for
will.
saving my friend.
You're very welcome. That's what she says with a bit of a smile on her face.
I have no idea what's going on.
That's correct.
He's only got about half the plot.
You take your leave. The assistant will have been either summoned before you get to the door, the one that answered the door when you first got here. She will make her way over to the door, opening it up to escort you or allow you out. You guys will be heading down the front steps of the temple, the Soul Temple, and beginning to kind of take in the clear night sky, full moon out. And what is your marching order? How is this all playing out? Like, give everybody a visual of like who's. I mean, like last I knew, Kelbrix, you were helping Ari. Sendra kind of stormed off.
Mm-hmm.
Gorath.
I mean, I'm definitely coming out as I see they're
Yep.
all leaving. So.
Okay, so
Like,
he'll-
all right,
he'll
gotta
be-
go.
Sendra is
Gotta go
probably
by.
in front of us because she's like stormed out angry.
Sounds good.
Kelbrix is helping me.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to put my hood up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Gorath would be behind us a bit.
As you begin to take the walk towards your horses, there is a. What's your AC, Kelbrix?
Without my shield up, it is 12.
Okay. You feel a excruciatingly sharp pain on the shoulder, very close to where Ari is. Like, really close, like inches away from almost striking Ari. And you actually take 10 points of piercing damage from an arrow that is stuck into your armor and probably piercing into your shoulder slightly with the amount of damage. I'd like a perception from everyone who will have seen this kind of silhouetted against the moonlight.
You tell me.
You too, Gorath.
Okay,
You're coming out.
right,
I mean, you
right.
watch this happen as everybody's
Right.
making their way to the horses. Absolutely.
6.
What'd you get?
Perception, I rolled a 1, plus 6 for 7.
15.
Gorath, you're going to be the only one that spots on a nearby roof across the way the silhouette of an assassin or an archer or something like that that seemed to have targeted and took a shot directly towards your friends. And that is where we're going to end this chapter of our tale. For you viewers and listeners, join us out next time when we have a special guest join us.